What if I told you that the biggest reason most people never break through in life has nothing to do with talent, intelligence, or even opportunity, but everything to do with how they were trained to see themselves? From childhood, we are quietly programmed to measure our worth using grades, salaries, job titles, and social approval, and the moment we don't fit neatly into those boxes, we start believing we are average, replaceable, or somehow behind. But the truth is, the world doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards perceived value, and perceived value is a game most people never learn how to play. Think about it carefully. Two people can have the same skill level, the same education, even the same experience, yet one earns 3 times more, commands more respect, and moves faster in life, while the other stays stuck wondering what they're doing wrong. And the difference often comes down to one thing: one understands how to identify, develop, and position their hidden value, and the other waits for recognition. And here's where it gets interesting, because hidden value is rarely obvious. It's not always the loudest skill, not the most glamorous career, not the trend everyone is chasing right now. It's usually something subtle, something underestimated, something people ignore because it doesn't look impressive at first glance. Before we go deeper, if you're someone who wants to understand the systems behind money, power, and opportunity in a simple and practical way, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Hidden Value Report, because this channel exists to help you see what most people miss. Now let's continue, because this is where most people disconnect from their own potential. Society teaches you to follow demand, but it doesn't teach you how to create demand. It tells you to compete, but not how to differentiate. It pushes you to improve, but not how to position. So people spend years upgrading their skills without upgrading how those skills are perceived. Imagine someone who is extremely good at solving problems quietly behind the scenes, but never speaks about it, never frames it correctly, never communicates its impact. Their value remains invisible. Meanwhile, someone slightly less skilled but highly strategic in communication can transform that same skill into higher income and influence. Hidden value is often a mix of skill, perspective, and positioning is what turns something ordinary into something premium. Think about everyday examples. Water is cheap at a grocery store, expensive at an airport, and even more expensive in a luxury hotel, yet it's the same water. What changed? Context. Environment. Perceived value. And you are no different. Your abilities in the wrong environment can look average. In the right environment, they can look exceptional. The problem is that most people stay in environments that constantly undervalue them, and after years of that, they internalize it and begin to undervalue themselves. That internal shift is dangerous, taking average risks, accepting average pay, and settling for average growth. Hidden value isn't only about money or career. Sometimes it's about insight, resilience, emotional intelligence, the ability to stay calm under pressure, the ability to see patterns others ignore. These traits don't always show up on a resume, but in the right moment, they become priceless. The world quietly rewards people who can solve expensive problems. The bigger the problem you can solve, the more valuable you become. But solving bigger problems requires confidence. And confidence requires clarity about your own value. Many people wait for validation before believing in themselves, but validation usually comes after you act as if you already understand your worth. That's the paradox. When you walk into a room unsure of your value, people sense it. When you communicate clearly what you bring, even if it's simple, people respond differently. Hidden value also grows when you combine skills. One skill might be common, but 2 or 3 combined in a unique way can be rare. For example, someone who understands technology is common, someone who understands storytelling is common, but someone who understands both can build brands, influence audiences, and create digital assets that generate income for years. The combination creates leverage. And leverage is where hidden value turns into visible results. Another mistake people make is confusing busyness with value. Being busy does not mean you are building something meaningful. Hidden value is built intentionally, often quietly, often when no one is watching. It's developed through focused learning, strategic relationships, and long-term thinking. Most people think short-term. They want quick wins, fast results, instant recognition. But hidden value compounds slowly, like interest in a bank account, and then suddenly it becomes obvious to everyone else, and they call it luck. It was never luck, it was invisible preparation. The biggest shift happens when you stop asking, "What job can I get?" and start asking, What problem can I solve better than most? Because problems create demand, and demand creates value. When you understand this, you stop chasing trends blindly and start building depth. You begin to observe industries, notice inefficiencies, identify gaps. You ask yourself where confusion exists, where frustration exists, where time is being wasted. Inside those spaces, hidden value lives. But there's another layer to this that most people ignore. Self-perception directly affects opportunity. If you constantly compare yourself to others, you will always feel behind, because comparison focuses on visible results, not invisible growth. Someone else's highlight reel can make your steady progress feel insignificant,